You've experienced it, first brand new game. How is that feeling playing a brand new game after scrimming online and playing on land for the first time? Do you feel like a god?
Absolutely. I mean, interestingly enough, I have not landed Halo Infinite yet, so I cannot wait till I can do that. But what it generally breaks down to is responsiveness. How snappy and responsive does your controller and sense feel on land? A lot of times players will have to adjust that slightly because of you know, just how it feels online versus land.
Yeah, I always have to bring my sense down like a peg or two.
It's damage given and damage taken. In most cases, you're doing a lot more damage than you did before, and then on the flip side, you're taking a lot more damage than you did before. So that is where a lot of people that would be considered online warriors back in the day would get hurt the most, is because they're like, all right, well, I'm doing a lot of damage. I'm doing even more damage than before. But yeah, now these shots are hitting you back, and you can't just go flying out like that because you're just going to get melted.
Oh, no, what do you mean? My FiOS doesn't work here, you know?
So it's definitely, there's going to be a lot of conversation coming out of this event, and for good reason. But folks, the time has arrived. The first match of Halo Infinite on land right here in Raleigh, North Carolina, alongside this incredible packed house. Guys, give yourself a round of applause because, folks, it's about to go down. Spacestation versus XSET. Let's jump right into it here. And oh boy, we're starting things off with the Filth Master himself. And already out of the gate, you're starting to see this battle take place over at B.
Yeah, and you notice how they are just prepared for that fight at B/that flank, and they don't want to overcommit either direction. When you're starting over at A, it's a difficult position to be in. Do you want to commit towards one direction or the other and fight someone near pillar side? Do you want to try to make a mad dash towards sniper? Or do you kind of sit back towards sandbags and see how the situation plays out? And that's what FilthyG and the squad kind of opted to do.
Oh, okay. Well, that was going to be a darn good play there from Tusk if it would have pulled off, but Cratos not letting that one happen. Sniper rifle has been obtained here by Deciting, and we'll see what he could do with this here. He's got plenty of bullets left in the chamber, and so far so good for Spacestation. A strong start. They're going to have to handle business over here by C. They also have the Heat Wave too, which is a phenomenal gun to have. An attempted no-scope there with the snipe. Not going to hit the shot, but they clear it out, and Spacestation is looking pretty solid here on C. They're going to hold this C and B hole for a little while longer.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more difficult here in this game to kind of get those trip caps that we've been seeing in the past, like in Halo 5 as an example. Just with how fast people are spawning, with the size of these maps, and you just can't really spread yourselves as thin on this. So we're going to really have to see how these teams, if they are able to pull it off, how they do it. But most times you're seeing these teams are very content with just getting their 2 caps and kind of sitting back and playing off from there.
Saw Ace try and attempt to pull off a miracle there, but not going to happen. Thankfully, he's got some teammates there to back him up. Actually, I'm sorry, that was going to be Deciting, but we're kind of cycling through some of the cameras here. But we're back on with Deciting, as a matter of fact. I believe that's who we're following here. And they will be looking to capture A, and you can see that push starting to happen over by C as well. Big battle here for Deciting to try and win. Nade's flying all over the place. He's got Cratos one shot. He has to clean him up, and he needs to do it fast, or else he's going to heal up, and he'll come right back for the fight here. And you can see him, he's still alive, and that one frag could cause him this overshield if you're not careful, but they have gone a few players down. He's going to go for it here. Can Deciting grab it? Yes, no! He drops the overshield. You have to get the confirm, and all of that entire sequence has led to overshield for XSET and potentially the momentum in this game.
Yeah, that was a great play by Cratos, just running away, staying alive. Like you said, definitely had an impact on what team got control of that overshield. Anytime you can just buy more time for your teammates, where you can be that nuisance running away, people can't fully relax until they get those kills confirmed. There's always that chance that that person doubles back and shoots you in the back. And in essence, we saw Deciting literally waste 5 to 7 seconds doing nothing. Just chasing Cratos. Was not in a power position on top of the map. Was not in a position to grab a new stronghold. Was really doing nothing but chasing Cratos, where Cratos is saying, I'm willing to trade this time with you. I'm regaining my shield.
Here's the thing, though. While all that happened, and despite the advantage in the overshield, they still were not able to completely ride that momentum. Sure, they got a few points on the board, but this is still going to be very much Spacestation's game here. We'll see what Cratos can do with the sniper, but they're going to need to pull off some miracles. A nice shot to the body, looking for another one as well as they flip out C. And they've been living on A this whole time, and Spacestation has not even attempted to try and push A. This is the first time I think we've seen Spacestation go for it, but Cratos, he's going to try and take some heads.
And I like this spot. Top middle can seem like it's a vulnerable position. The the best correlate I can give to that top middle spot here on Livefire, it reminds me of almost like the bridge on Chill Out, where it seems a bit more vulnerable than you expect, but you have different escape routes. You can peek shot over from that tunnel where you can drop towards bomb center. You can sprint over towards plasmas or back over towards sandbags, depending on where pressure is coming from. It's one of those spots where you can peek in and out, get a couple pot shots at somebody, and if it lands, you can go finish it off. If it doesn't, you have different escape routes at your disposal.
That is going to be another overshield that Spacestation have, you know, like, this is, I think, the biggest problem as well, right? It's like, you know, the fight for these overshields, they've been working out very nicely for Spacestation. Whether it's going to be, you know, XSET going for it and them trying to bait them into really bad plays, Spacestation's been in control.
One thing that's super interesting right there, just seeing all these small nuanced movements we have from these players, Deciting, as soon as he got inside that A hill, just stands on the base of that pillar and is able to do peek shots if need be or dodge back and forth. And you notice what he was doing was back and, you know, just slicing a little bit more area each time, saying, all right, is someone coming from the garage? No. I'm going to peek a little bit more and see, all right, this next meter, is someone coming from the garage? And just not fully exposing themselves to see if someone's coming from the garage until they just check it little by little. That way, if they're able to spot him, he knows he has to keep dancing back and forth to that pillar. So that's just such smart and cracked movement.
Incredible awareness as well from such a young player here, but it goes to show the amount of work that's been being put into this. But speaking of work, that Mangler is being put to work as well. I'm sure that thing hits like a cannon on land as well. Spectre goes down there now looking for another cleanup with it, but Cratos is going to handle business on that one. Tylenul, though, looking to back things up, but here comes Porky. And the problem is he was getting shot from bottom mid there by Deciting. And so far, I mean, this has just been all Spacestation gaming the entire time. They have not looked back, Dave.
No, and I would say the real key to their success here on this map so far has been just control of B. You've noticed most times that Spacestation, whether they've been, you know, only having one hill or anytime they have two, it's always been a setup that's consisted of controlling B. And from what I understand from seeing some of these top pros play, it's because it's such an exposed hill, you can cover so many angles. It's going to take a long route for somebody to push out from the open field from whether it's A or if they're going to fly out to pillars and bottom yard from C. There's just really no way to get over to B that's on the way towards anything else. So if you can hold that, you can still contest A or C from other spots, but still have a presence over at B. So it seems like they want to make sure that they get B, then they get in spots that they can defend the B stronghold. And look at this trip cap right now going on. This is just a slapping GB.
Right now, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Ace is out there slapping booty. He's slapping booty. He don't give no care in the world. What a statement start for Spacestation against XSET. Great start for the lineup. Ace showing why, like, I mean, the man's playing the best Halo he's played, like, ever. Like, from his whole run in H3, like, the online era of H3, MCC Pro Series, all that stuff, everyone was like, Ace, Ace, Ace. He's so good. He's even better now. He's even better. I don't know what it is. It's those Zen tactics he does, man, or those tweets, that, you know, the Zen tweets. I don't know what it is, Dave, but it's working.
We don't joke about it, but, like, he definitely has such a strong mental and health game that's going on throughout Halo. Halo is a game that you see people play for many years on end. You know, these top pros, they maybe have some success early on, but they really are hitting their stride in, like, let's say years 3 to 5, and it's really up to themselves for how long of a career do they have. And I see Ace, you know, from what I see on social media, and we know social media equals real life.
Obviously,
absolutely.
It goes without saying, especially these last 2 years.
Exactly. And so, you know, from what I can see from those snippets from social media, it seems like Ace really does take his mental and physical health very seriously.
And that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do when you're competing at such a high level like this. No matter the game, whatever it may be, you have to, you know, take that time for yourself, right? It's so important, and you know that that's something that he's imparting onto his teammates as well. But really, if you reflect on the game and what we just saw, he was snapping, dude. Everything was working out for him. He had Mangler control for a good portion of, I would say, like maybe half of the game. They never really were in a position where the power items were never in their grasp, right? They always knew exactly where everything was and were able to play around it.
And they always had such a healthy lead as well. I mean, at the closest, it was what, like 70 points to like 35 points or so when we saw XSET start to make that run back. But these, the Spacestation gaming squad, they really didn't have too much of a challenge there. They really pulled away held that B stronghold the entire time and just pulled it away. So we're going to have to see if they can keep that up.
Yeah, very strong start here. But folks, we're going to be going to Aquarius coming up next, right? Aquarius Slayer, I believe, is map 2. So, you know, that is the, you know, this is the spiritual successor in Halo Infinite right now, at the very least, to Midship, to the more arena-style maps that we have come to know and love. And this one in particular, a little bit of a different type of map, Dave, because you have a lot of wide-open sight lines here, and it was described to me very well. It said Midship with walls. It was the other one as well that was helping me.
Yeah, that's a decent example for it. I mean, it does. Most teams are now using the call-outs by calling like pink side, car side, and stuff, and that's a very responsible thing to do when you're coming up with new call-outs for maps and such.
Yeah.
I feel like this play is so drastically different. You know, it's a symmetrical map, sure, but it is, you know, I can't say it's the same.
That's where the relation ends there.
Yeah, that's where it is for me. It's like, yes, it's symmetrical. Yes, you have some of the call-outs. Yes, you have side flanks and stuff, but it's really does not play anything like that.
Yeah, well, watch out, folks, for that active camo. If you're new to Halo, basically, it just allows you to go invisible. Your footsteps, are muted as well. You also have a few other pickups here, and actually, you're seeing it in play currently because Tusk does have possession of it. And he also has possession of the Heat Wave, one of the new additions to Halo Infinite. This weapon, at first, I remember shooting this gun like in the first flight, and I was like, I don't understand this. Maybe I'm a Papega and I just don't get these things. But then I was like, oh wait, the alt fire is where you want to be for this gun. You definitely want to hit that vertical shot, and it's a beautiful weapon.
I think I hit myself more with Heat Wave than I should be. I need to watch a few more things. Like, it's, I don't know. I know we're coming up to Christmas time, but I feel like Ralphie's shooting his eye out or something like that as I'm shooting this thing, and it just bounces back and hits me, and I'm just like, all right, maybe I should be shooting the thing at an angle where it doesn't come directly back at me. I mean, I took a couple physics classes. I should apply that. Yeah,
no, I failed physics, true story.
I don't know if I believe that. I bet you failed to get into physics. Let's expand that one step further. Let's be honest here.
Let's be right. I failed chemistry and failed to get into physics. So the heat wave in my hand is a disaster, though. But what, you know, on a player, though, when the heat wave's in their hand, it's certainly going to be Tusk. You know, you're going to see it put to good use right here. Gets a good shot as well as some assistance, too. And that could have been a little dangerous for a moment, but it
traded damage by Cratos. But one thing you'll notice, like, for all these people watching at home, they're saying, all right, well, normally I would chase down and hunt that person right away to Tusk. And Tusk knows he has help. He knows he has teammates. Yeah. He's not just going to randomly charge out and try to finish his kills on his own. He wants to still stay in strong position, let people run out, make mistakes, and get finished. So there's a lot of trust that goes in with players and teams knowing who's going to get the finish on a kill and when, and where are the times that you have to charge and get your own finishes.
By the way, we've been playing this game for a hot minute now, and that was Tusk's, I believe, yeah, that was his first death. He basically was living low the whole time, not worrying about anything. If he got challenged, it was not a big deal. He pulled so much attention in his direction, and that allows them to still be able to hold on to this lead. But now let's see what XSET can do as we finally get some control with power items. You got camo for Filthy. You also have the heat wave on him as well, and they're going to try and bring this one back. And if anything, Dave, as we know with Game 2 Slayers, that is usually the game mode where you could see a team that maybe struggles in that objective try and find their way back into it.
Yeah, Slayer's one of those things you can't really, you know, make impossible comebacks. You know, in an objective game, you could be down 4 flags, or you could be down 200 seconds in a stronghold, and you get that right setup, you can close it out. But Slayers, it's inevitable that top teams and players are going to be able to get those trades. Teams are going to play different. They can hide around a bit more. You just really don't have any room for error when teams start to pull away. But from what we're seeing here, it just seems like maybe Slayer is where XSET can bring this back. Maybe Strongholds, or maybe just like that panicky start got to them.
Exactly. And that probably was, you know, I'm sure in the comments they were talking to each other saying, hey guys, we just got to calm it down, play our game. We know what we're capable of doing here. Now this is where things get a little dicey when you're going to push into these bubble rooms and you're going into those chokes, right? Those corner room chokes are very, very tough to play in there. And Suspector's just going to live in here for a little while. As of right now, this is looking phenomenal for XSET. They're picking up a bunch of vital kills, and yeah, sure, you know, Tylenul gets Suspector there, but even then, right, like the fact that XSET, they're still clawing their way up and slowly but surely ripping this lead away from Spacestation each kill that they get.
Yeah, and sometimes you will see early on in Slayers, teams can be fairly evenly matched, and then like somewhere around like 30 mark, one team pulls away. But this has been dead
Very
even,
close.
obviously in favor of XSET. So, you know, I would be surprised not to see XSET walk away with this with how they're playing thus far, because even earlier on when we saw the teams even or so, that was when Spacestation had power weapons, power-ups. We saw Tusk with camo, with heat wave. We just saw them in a really good spot. So we're gonna have to see if they can pull away a little further with this upcoming camo.
Now, last time when XSET managed to get camouflage, they started to come back into the game and they were able to obtain that lead. But that whole fight for camo basically was a 3-kill swing in favor of Spacestation. And on top of that, they get the camo. And look at the sizzle sticks over in the corner doing work, Walshy.
Not just that. Also, I want to point out something to all my online matchmaking teammates. You see what Tusk is doing? He's pinging people. He's calling out. He's helping his teammates.
Okay, Dave, now you're going after your online teammates. That's not
I am
fair.
going after all those people in ranked right now that don't.
The tools are there, people, use it.
Yeah, if you're not going to call out, at least ping. And you see Tusk setting a perfect example and doing both.
This is where things start to get a little bit scary here for XSET. They were close, and I was saying before, like they were clawing away at that early lead that Spacestation had, but credit to Spacestation. Because of that fight for camo, they got a huge momentum swing, all in their favor, and now they're sitting 5-kill lead, 27, excuse me. Let's see though what Ace could do with the heat wave. Beautifully done by Ace. I mean, this man is simply on fire. He was top fragging in the last game. He's top fragging in this game. Somebody stop him. He's on point.
Yeah, that was so sick. And just doing such a great job with that thruster. And so many times you can play mind games with your opponents, like as Ace is dropping off that staircase. That player is conditioned to think, all right, now what am I going to do? Am I going to bake a grenade? Am I going to chase this down? And the fact that Ace thrusts back, it's going to throw somebody's aim off. Even the top players are going to be caught off guard with plays like that. So watch how these top players make the most use of these pieces of equipment, whether that's, like I said, thrusting back onto a top ledge where you thought you was going to fall, or at least being smart and saving your thrust to the very last second when someone's shields are popped.
You know, that thrust has been so instrumental for Spacestation throughout this entire game. And as a result of that as well, you know, they've managed to, you know, gain control of an item that normally wouldn't really seem like, there you go, the back whack. The back whack, and it connected, which is the greatest thing. He's going in for it. Oh, good attempt there by Ace. But my goodness, the man is on fire right now.
And we're at that 30-ish mark where teams are pulling away. We do see a 5-kill lead. That's nothing insurmountable, but on a map like this where you don't have as swinging of power weapons, you know, like a rocket or a sniper where it gets more of those guaranteed kills or get a larger lead, this is going to be tough to close this gap.
We'll see, though, what XSET is made of here. Can they do it? They don't have a lot of kills to give up here. Here comes the challenge up on the steps. A big kill. That's actually going to be 2 huge kills for them. Maybe that could be enough to start to get some momentum in their favor, right? They're going to be down by 4 still. They can't give up any dumb deaths. You've heard that phrase, I'm sure, a bunch of times when you're playing with your friends. You don't want to give anything up to them. Another kill for Suspector. They're clawing their way back into this game. It's very doable as Porky J, he's going to embark on one of the blue players here, trying to chase him down. It's going to be Ace, and a huge win there. We're tied up, 41-41.
What a massive swing. Such a good play by XSET. Like we said, getting a couple unanswered kills and just using their numbers advantage to push across the map, realizing that they can push 4v2 across the map, clean up a couple more kills, and try to keep these spawns staggered. Brilliant
Help there that Ace provided, but it's going to be traded out right away as Tylenul dies, though, and Porky needed assistance inside, but another trade comes in, 43-43. It doesn't get much closer than this, folks. And each time one gets a kill, someone else is there as well. This camo is going to be so instrumental in this game.
Kratos just trying to stay alive desperately on the space, realizing that there's going to be eyes on him. When you're at the base up in front of one of those pillars, you have to realize people have eyes across the map.
Actually, I don't even think the camo's going to matter here. I think they may just try and go for the frags, unless that's good. That was the part that I was a little concerned about. If they get the camo right now, there's a few kills here to give up. I don't know if it's going to play that big of a deal because they know exactly where he is. They picked up another kill. Tusk goes down as well. And this is where you start to see what XSET is made of in these situations here. And also, what can the young gun Tylenul do in this situation? And oh no. Oh. Probably a technical difficulty up on the stage as Deciting has stopped moving. I'll take things you hate to see for 100, Alex.
And welcome back to Raleigh, North Carolina. Here we are back on board with Spacestation versus XSET. We have resumed this series. Bravo alongside Walsh. Walsh, good to be here with you.
Great to be here. I just realized as soon as we remove the curse known as Gold Point, the series starts working.
Golden Boys out of the equation, and we're back into the action. Now, you might remember here, it was 1-0. Spacestation taking that first game over XSET. They were able to win that first game, and now we're into game number 2 here. This is going to be a replay of Slayer on Aquarius. So when we last left off, Dave, it was 46-46. It was a pretty big comeback on the side of XSET.
Yeah, the fact that they are able to acquire so many unanswered kills on a map with so many close corridors is just unheard of.
Yeah, absolutely. Now as we take a look at the score just to see where things are settling in off of the break, and that's going to be XSET up with an early lead here, 12-6, and a very different game than we saw even in that last one, and maybe a little bit of signs of life here after the restart. They're coming off pretty hot.
Yeah, I mean, this was that sort of deficit I was talking about before, like a 6 or 7 kill lead is really tough to break on a map like this. Those aren't as insurmountable on a map where you can get like a sniper rifle, where you can get like a slower paced setup. A map like this, there's just so many close corridors that teams and just players just naturally get more trades. And so this is really a commanding start here for the XS roster. And what a tricky little play by Suspector. Most times you see a player backing down there in utility, you assume they're running all the way to bottom car or going towards bottom center. But instead, he just loops right back over into the base. So in a situation like that, it was just really unexpected there from Suspector. And it shows that's why he's been so successful in so many past Halos. He just knows times where he can back out to help to get, help from a teammate, or where he has no choice but to, double down, head right back into the fight, head right back into the fire, and get away with it. And we got Tylenul slipping around. I like that teamwork there, dropping that heat wave and getting this double combo here. So we're gonna have to see what we can do with this, because not only does he have the heat wave, he has a dynamo grenade, and this gap has already shrank and almost evaporated completely. Just a 2-kill game here, and that's not what you want to see when you have all that going for you. A trade there when you have camo, when you have heat wave, when you have dynamo grenades. You're hoping to get a lot more out of that. What do you think about that, Bravo?
No, not Bravo.
No,
it's Golden Boy now.
No.
Sorry. Yeah, well,
God, no.
You can't get rid of me, Dave.
I tried.
You tried really hard.
I told you, I was like, GB, we have a break.
And the worst part, you didn't even tell me, and I was standing right there, Dave. I'll never forgive you.
That's exactly what I did, but I just thought I could get away with it.
David Mary Beth Walsh, ladies and gentlemen. All right, well, folks, let's jump into this action here, because it has clearly been a long, long time that these two teams had to play here. But right out of the gate, you're seeing that XSET, they came out with a lot of force, and that is exactly what XSET needed to do, especially after how things panned out before the reset. They were looking good. They were looking poised, maybe even take the matchup if it had gone the distance.
They were, but yeah, this is also just, once again, a really, really close one. It's kind of weaned back and forth from this 5 or 6 kill lead for XSET back to even, and back to 5 or 6 kill lead for XSET. So I'm not sure what it is that they're doing on a consistent basis, but it really does seem like XSET seems to find their stride every once in a while here, where they're walking away with like these leads. And I like this play, just grabbing camo right away. My kind of thoughts on something like camo's power-ups is you grab it right off the bat, or you need to secure some sort of advantage. You need to get some sort of positional advantage, get a pick or some damage on somebody. But if you're there right when it drops, sometimes you gotta take that.
Yeah, the timing is always going to be a problem there, especially when, everyone's got eyes on it, right? It's not like previous Halos where you didn't know when it was coming up. Everyone sees it, everyone knows, and that is going to force people to have to look in that direction, though. But as we jump right back into the action, 24-31, XSET starting to peel away with this lead. Walshy could be problematic here, but Spacestation certainly not out of it yet, though. Good attempt by Ace, but he's going to get cleaned up.
Yeah, not even that yet, but that's one thing we also didn't talk about, the differences here with an Infinite compared to past iterations. It's not just the fact that you know when's coming up, you also know when it's grabbed. That's a big difference, where you could be hiding behind, like you said, one of those pillars at the base, or you could be somewhere all the way across the map and just realize, all right, they grabbed camo. We now know that's the case. There's no need to put myself in an exposed position to contest it.
That's very true. And then to make matters worse as well is that, you know, unlike previous Halos, in this one, you have the ability to pocket the power item, right? You don't have to pop it right away. You can kind of delay it a little bit, right? You know, because maybe in previous Halos, you can kind of time it out. Not in this one, right? And as we continue to look at the action unfold here, it seems like XSET really running away with this. A 10-kill lead. Every single shot is hitting there. Tylenul, though, is going to get the better of Suspector, but an immediate cleanup there as well, coming in hot from, I believe that was going to be FilthyG. So now you're essentially looking at an XSET potential win here. If it keeps going like this, 1-1 tie in the series, you're feeling good if you're on the red team.
XSET, I can't imagine not closing this out. This is such a significant margin, and they have such good players on their roster that they're going to know how to trade this out. Even if Spacestation starts to get like a little bit of a run like they have right there, we saw Deciting and Tusk picking up a couple kills. Yeah, it's too big of a gap this late in the game. If they were at like the 20 or 30 kill mark and only down by 10, that's a different scenario.
They did get camo though. This maybe is an opportunity for like maybe 3-4 kills that they could pull out of this.
It's an opportunity without a doubt, but I mean, just the cards are stacked against them. This is just such a tough position to be in to try and close this out or
they
try
can't
to close
give up
this gap.
depths. They cannot. And this is actually the exact situation that XSET found themselves before the reset here. But now, you know, you get Suspector with a double kill off screen. That is certainly going to affect things for sure. For certain, Acer trying to go for the cleanup, but instead it's actually going to be Tylenul finishing the job that he started here alongside with the sidekick. And now this is where things begin to crumble. A valiant effort indeed by Spacestation Gaming, but XSET had their number from the beginning as the kills continue to collect on the red team's favor.
Yeah, and this one's just going to be closed out. Just need a few trades. And like I said, on a map like this with so many close quarter scenarios, they can just get melees, just get a two-shot melee, get a grenade out on somebody, and it's just going to be too tough to walk away with that many kills. So we are going to see ourselves in a tied series in just a moment.
Yeah, and that's what we had talked about at the start of the show way back 5 years ago. You know, we said that we were going to potentially see this very close series between these teams. It started off with live fire Strongholds, and Spacestation did the business against XSET. This time around, though, XSET returning the favor, and they will walk away with the win here. And we're now tied up 1-1 as we can finally finish the series. That will never end. I may not speak too soon, though.
Yeah, don't speak too soon. We got some more games ahead of us. Game 3 is going to be Bazaar CTF.
Yeah, Bazaar CTF. We actually did get a chance to see earlier on some of the side stations that Bazaar game. I think it was Bing Chilling versus the Chiefs, or it was the Boys, I believe. Yeah, it was Boys versus Oxygen.
Yep.
And it's actually been really fun to see people who had never played Halo before coming into Halo now and not understanding how game modes like capture the flag work because, you know, it makes sense. You want to, you know, invade the base, try and get as much presence as possible, but then you're like, why are they spawning outside, you know?
It's always in different rounds of slays, and you're right. For someone that's not as used to that style of play, it really is a science at the highest level of play where you have to...
And aesthetically speaking, from what we've seen in previous Halos, this one obviously pulling that inspiration. I don't know if this is New Mombasa or not, but the lorehead in me will figure it out eventually. But as far as what's important on here, it is going to be the rockets. You have the grapple shot. You also have the chickens.
You have the chickens, you got the overshield, you got, you know, those are
those
all
things are
important
too, but the chickens.
The chickens before the overshield, without a doubt. If you try to grab the overshield, those chickens will get you.
Those chickens will get you. And then, of course, you have the heat wave. Well, actually, no, it's not the heat wave.
Bulldog.
It's the bulldog down low. That's right. So the bulldog on the lower end of the map as well. You'll look for players to try and get some control and look for that thrust to come into play. A lot of these pro players, they'll tackle these thrusts with, you know, reckless abandon because they know they have to. And an immediate grab of the overshield, by the way, from FilthyG. Now, that is where you're going to want to use the ticklers, right? The dynamo nades to try and drain the shields. And it turns out that they managed to do enough that the overshield goes away here.
There was also just like a miscommunication, I felt like, there from the Spacestation side. You saw that start, where I believe it was Deciting, was looking towards somebody pushed in from mid-market. Did not expect someone just flying right off the rails onto the OS without having some sort of contention or some sort of a teammate's eyes on it. So maybe a bit of a miscommunication on the Spacestation side, or maybe they don't have their starting lineup fully figured out based on where they're spawning at. Because I used to always do that a little bit before on Pit Flag. Like, based on where I spawned Pit Flag, I knew if I could get inside green and throw a frag grenade that they could not avoid. Versus if I got one of the further spawns away, I could not do that started. So I don't think Halo Infinite is quite yet at that position. And look at those bulldog shots from Cratos as he gets a double kill and helping his team push on over to the Space Station base.
Yeah, and the Bulldog, oh my goodness, that rocket sent them flying there. It's important to note about the Bulldog as well. It's not really a shotgun. It's more of a flat cannon like you would see in other FPS games. Obviously still has shotgun tendencies and all that stuff, but a bit on the weaker side. You'll do your damage and you'll see people pick up that gun.
You're almost talking about like a hybrid dog, like that's a Bulldog. No, it's like mixed with like Golden Retriever stuff, man. It's not like a Bulldog. Like, no, dude, that's totally a Bulldog.
That's totally a Bulldog. You know, that actually is a Bulldog.
It's a Bulldog.
Very well done. Very well pointed out there, Dave. Now, though, and Cratos is going to take full advantage of this here as they are going to now look to embark on the flag, try and see if they can make this pull happen. The spawns are going to be of note here. Suspector was right in front of the double doors. The spawn's happening over on the alley side. Suspector was hoping that he could make contact with players in mid, but no, instead they wrapped all the way around. Kratos is going to be left between a rock and a hard place here. He's going to need his teammates to help him out.
Here's the thing is, yes, Cratos is getting outnumbered, getting picked off as base.
Yeah.
But your job once you're in that position is you need to buy as much time as possible
to
take up the rest of the map, or you put it in a position where the other team gets risky and only sends one person back for you.
Yeah.
If they only send one person back for you and you can win that 1v1 or get a trade, you have put them back in that same position once again, and they have been stretched so thin on resources. So what Space Station opted to do is they went back all the way to clear their base. And so I think that's a very smart play by Cratos. I think in other cases a player would have maybe just jumped out and challenged or tried to look and see what they could have done and gotten outnumbered, but instead he made them go around corners to find where he was
at. That is unfortunate for Deciding. I think he thought he got the better of that player there. Did not work out for him at all. Now Ace playing within this hovel here. Rockets are going to be up in a moment. Brilliant thrust from Suspector, giving him that just brief moment to be able to get away from the fight that Ace and him were engaging in, right? You kind of throw off the aim with that, and you don't know if they're going to have that particular equipment item or not. So this has just been brilliant by XSET. They've managed to gain control of power weapons, power items. Everything's been working out for them thus far, but they have to make that reflect on the scoreboard.
Yeah, end of the day, yes, XSET are significantly ahead in slays, but that doesn't matter if you're not able to translate that to kills. So one thing that's very interesting, Ace, that was his first kill of this match. He's 1-5 at the moment. Yes, that looks not ideal, but it's sometimes actually a good indicator of like your team's getting outslayed and they're not able to cap on that or be very objective efficient. It's really not that bad of a position.
Yeah, you're doing enough. You're doing enough to keep them back. But eventually, right, the armor will start to crack and then you'll start to see things kind of fall to pieces here. And that is the part that now, with the overshield grabbed yet again by XSET, this is where you start to be concerned if you're a Space Station Gaming fan, though. Porky J going to make this push happen, able to execute on that kill against Tusk, and they have full presence inside of the base. You can see those spawns by tower side. They're going to try and meet them at the front door if they can, but this is where you're going to look for this team to try and get this next round of slays. And as we talked about, Walshy, you're going to get the slays, and you're going to get the slays again.
Yep, ultimately it comes down to slays. I do always try to highlight objective efficiency because that's so incredibly important. But there's really no amount of objective efficiency you can do if you just don't get any slays. And look at this run by Porky J.
I like what they did here, actually. Porky, what he did was he did not sprint.
I feel like this needs to stop at this point. Like, I would have dropped and maybe slayed if the team needed it, because at some point, if you're uncertain, you just need to get slays on your half of the map. Once you get the flag on your half of the map, the way I kind of look at it as a rule of thumb, Golden Boy, is flags on your half of the map, your spawns and reinforcements are going to come out faster than the opposing team. And on the same flip side, if you are at the opposing team's half of the map, I want to get out there kind of as fast as possible. Like, when in doubt, there's a lot of times where I'm going to run if I'm not sure if I need to slay or whatnot. And so I want to get that back to my team's half so that we get reinforcements faster. It's a battle of reinforcements when you have multiple rounds of slays.
But an important thing about that particular flag run, though, Walsh, which you know, Space Station realized that they were not going to be in a position to try and stop them as they were pulling it to the low side. So they decided to go and make a play over at their flag, right? Just try to force something. And as a result of that, that just gave XSET all the time in the world to let their teammate just slowly, gingerly make their way over. And now that they're up 1-0 here, we got around 6 minutes and 9 seconds left to play. Let's see, though, what Space Station Spacestation can do here. They're trying to push onto this base, and it has been a bit of a struggle for them, and then credit goes to XSET for holding them at the door constantly.
Yeah, you're right there. I think you brought up a good point when they were pushing all the way to the XSET base, trying to get slays and hopefully kill that flag in the process of it. Porky was able, like you said, just to kind of do his own solo thing all the way over on that.
That was a rough overshield, by the way, for Ace. He picked it up. You think, okay, great, now you can start, you know, cooking with fire here. Nope, they focused him so fast, and on top of that, you got the plasma pistol, the green gun up top. So no matter what, that overshield was going to be drained. They handled that one very well, XSET, and that's the reason why they're up 1-0. But we're starting to now see this pressure from Spacestation. How can XSET try and hold this one back here? Tylenul with the melee, but the instant trade from FilthyG, and this could potentially be a failed push. It is a failed push for Spacestation.
Yeah, another a failed push on their end. One of the, I won't say few times that they've been able to put pressure on the XSET base, but for the most part, this game has been strongly in control of XSET, where the pressure's been more on Spacestation side of the map. And it does feel like when Spacestation does get to push on out, it feels like they're trying to force things right away.
That's huge.
I almost would like to see them slow it down a little bit, get control of the center, slow it down, and then make a push in together.
That's big. We could potentially be looking at Spacestation capping this flag here. I mean, I liked what I was seeing for them, but there's two people at the base there. They're still going to make the pull happen, and at this point now, you got to be feeling pretty confident if you're Spacestation.
Yeah, I mean, this is also seems to be the preferred route for both these teams to run this flag. I want to see if that tends to hold true with all these pro teams. But running through the alley, my guess is there's a couple advantages here. One, if you stop those alley spawners right away, you know you have a clear path in front of you, and you only have one spot that they can get to you from behind, which is the alley. So somebody can spot that from so many different areas, whether that's the lockers or whether that's towards top market. There's just so many areas we can spot that. So that seems like I said, to be the preferred flag route. And Spacestation may still be down in kills, but it doesn't matter. Objective efficiency-wise, they have one cap on the board, and that's all that counts.
And that cap came very fast. That's the thing about Spacestation.
The first time they basically got a real pull and real control.
Exactly, and then they were already at the other side of the map before XSET could get a moment to breathe here. An opportunity to grab the overshield from Porky J, but instead it's going to be drained instantly. Spacestation handling business. And yeah, sure, you'd probably looking at Ace being 5 and 10 and thinking, oh man, he's having a rough game. But when you really think about it, 1-1, and that's the way that the scoreboard is shaken out, you have to feel all right for Spacestation here. And man, those dynamo nades are vicious, bro.
Yeah, they do some real damage. One person that's also been doing some real damage here is Suspector. This last game, I think he had 17 kills on Aquarius Slayer, which is a massive amount of Slayer on a team Slayer game. But this one as well, also leading the pack in kills with 19 slays thus far.
I think that was one rocket fired. Potentially, yes, it was. Filthy has another one there, but that was a pocket rocket.
Overkill for Deciting, it said right there. Deciding closing that out, getting an OS by also making someone rocket themselves. That's just sending a statement, GB.
That's the best way to achieve that one. That's for certain here. Ace is looking to make some plays happen, and there comes the push, but a lot of weakened players pushing forward here. We got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, and as it stands, XSET, they're going to try and take a little bit more space in the mid here, get control of the map, force Spacestation into awkward positions so that they can try and get the better of them here.
I like that route from Porky. Porky can double kill and instantly putting pressure here on the Spacestation base, getting that kill on Tusk. And wisely, I guess, letting his teammate just go and push him for that kill. I wonder what the plan is right here. Just realizing that nobody else is there at the Spacestation base. Everyone's pushed out. Might as well go help your teammates out in the center and have some sort of impact on this OS. And here comes the battle for it. It looks like it's going to fall in the hands of Tylenul.
A lot of weird fights taking place there, and the overshield has been grabbed by Tylenul. He has half left as well. Now, it was an attempted flag pull while all that was going on. It seemed like that they were hoping that they were going to get the stop in mid. They had players there, they had bodies, but it just was not enough.
Yeah, one thing that's scary here on Bazaar is to get that flag grab, it is so far out of the way and so far away from the rest of the action. Meaning that if someone's going for that pull, that means they can't have any sort of impact in the center of the map. And teams can use that to their advantage. They can say, all right, we can win the 4v3 or 4v2 in the center of the map. You can pull our flag and we just turn around and kill you when we need to. Or just pull your flag and kill you on the way back.
A minute 14 in this very close match between two incredible squads here in full play. This match has been going on for so long. Ace with a big kill. Keeping the drive alive here for Space Station. Not allowing them to get control inside of the base.
But look at all these, so amazing kills, amazing plays, but this is all in the name of defense right now here for Space Station Gaming. This is just clearing out their base, so it's not like any of these incredible kills are translating into any sort of caps at the moment. They just have to still continue to clear out the center, clear out their own base. So this is a really difficult spot that if they can pick up kill after kill and continue to move across the map, it'll be good. But if Space Station continue to be put on their heels, they're not going to be in any sort of position to get a flagpole.
Tylenul's looking to get control of the BR. That's going to be 1 kill on Porky J. 2, as a matter of fact, is Deciting's going to do some damage here and nail himself a double. 3 down now. Tusk only one to go down with that Mangler, that up melee as well. This could be a flagpole. We saw how fast they moved last time. With only 10 seconds left on the clock here, the flag is starting to move. You got players for XSET on the side of Space Station. Deciding's underneath them. I don't even know if they're aware that he's there now that they know, and he's going to try and cause as much chaos and carnage as he can, but the flag continues to move here. It's in the middle of the field.
Yeah, such a difficult position there. Good idea knowing that players are going to be in the center, but, or sorry, over in the alley, but not knowing how do you pick them off when they have the height advantage like that, and players just flying together can be really difficult. I like this, keeping flag alive. Tylenul doing everything he can, but Porky J is going to say, that's all, folks, and we're going to overtime.
Yeah. You were waiting for that one.
What? Nah.
You were waiting for that one. You were waiting for that one, Dave. Oh, man. Overtime, capture the flag. Now, the rules here, very simple, folks. First flag cap wins. That's it. And we'll see now who gets that strong break. Because remember, the last start for XSET was so great. They got overshield. They got everything that they wanted, and they started to push. But Space Station's defense was so good. Now the question remains, can Space Station try and hold off this early aggression here from XSET? And so far, so good. Overshield has been grabbed as well. That's huge, Walshy.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need. And I was going to say, for someone like Tylenul, he has 2 choices here. Either stay in the center, help get all these kills, and clear this out, or as soon as you get this first kill, immediately just fly in the opposing flag. You can win a 1v1 in this position. And right here, he obviously win the 1v1 over at the BR side. So gets the trade. Huge kill though by FilthyG, just getting that trade with the minimal OS left. But like I said, I think knowing my kind of objective brain and where I really lean towards when in doubt, I would have just flown in towards the opposing flag and tried to block spawns, get a kill, and run that flag.
Yeah, just cause carnage as much as you can in the enemy base. But even then though, right, I mean, there's just a lot of work that needed to be done there. Now they have rockets. I don't know how many they have in the chamber. They got 1 left available to them. He knows exactly where Cratos is, but I think he's going to try and get a better position here. Ring around the rosy. Don't want to use that rocket quite
I like
yet.
that play though. I like the greed around rockets. You only have 2 rockets. Don't be wasting those on the one-shots no more. That's something that we still continue to see at high-level Halo play, is people opting to use the rockets when in doubt, because there's just so many things that can go wrong. But
you just saw a new mechanic in play here, by the way, folks. The grapple shot not only can hurdle you across the map, but it also bring weaponry to you as well if you aim it properly, and that was just a perfect example of that. That whole sequence with the grapple shot has basically allowed Porky J to be in this position, and now XSET, they could very well be on the path to pulling that flag.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a great job collapsing in on the Space Station base. You just see them picking off any individual members that happen to poke out, whether they try to go towards lockers or go towards bomb center.
This is massive.
Flank gets the double kill. Porky J instantly thrusting in and going for the flagpole.
All right, let's see what this pull is going to come from here. It's going to be taken all the way over to the left side of the map. You're going to expect spawns to be happening over on the right by the alley, but you saw 1 blue player in the enemy base there, and that is going to slow things down, but they're getting the kills. They took down 2 more members, make that 3. The last player left alive is going to be Tylenul. Can he pull off a miracle here and try to stop this pull from happening, as he does everything he can, but it's going to be XSET who grabs the flag, and this is going to be it, folks. XSET will win Game 3.
That is a huge, huge victory, going up 2-1 in this series. Way to clutch up at the end, but like you said, what a fantastic flank by Porky.
You know, you essentially can see that from all angles, whether it's the whirlpool area or it's the top towers you see in the distance there, maybe even top yellow. Also, look out for the grapple shot. It's going to cause some problems here and the shock rifle too, which I quite like that gun, although I suck with it.
Yeah, no, it's essentially like, I think you have to reframe your mind into being like, all right, this is a sniper. Like it used to be, you know, as people kind of figure out the weapon, or like, all right, how do I fully play around this? It's like, treat it as like a sniper that you can hit some easier kind of no-scope headshots with.
Yeah. If you play other games like Valorant, for example, you know, you can kind of equate it to the difference of using an operator versus a marshal. You know what I mean? It's like a weaker type of gun, but you know, if you hit the head, you'll do the damage. You'll get the kill. Already though, XSET starting off exactly where they want to be, with power items grabbed as well as the energy sword too. And the sword is very strong, so you definitely want to use that one as much to your advantage as you can.
Yeah, we're gonna see how Porky decides to play this one out. Actually, this is Tylenul on our screen at the moment. So Tylenul has this this camo and sword.
Spacestation.
Yep,
that's right. So even better for Spacestation, a strong start.
Spacestation's pretty strong start, but the camo also goes away pretty quick in this situation. You know, it goes. I guess the part that kind of gets me with camo now is I feel like you're not able to navigate as far as you think you can, because you're used to like the advanced movement mechanics in Halo.
Sure.
And in order to do that, you give away your camo advantage. So you got to take kind of a slower, longer flank, and these maps are just kind of elongated just a little bit, that you get generally like one-ish good pushes if you're in like a standoff scenario.
Yeah.
If there's a bunch of chaos going on, yes, you can be more effective in a couple different engagements with that camo, but for the most part, you got really one good push in my eyes.
Also doesn't help as well that if you want to grab that sword after you grab camo, you have to kind of pocket it almost.
Yeah, you should be looking to pocket that if that's your plan.
Because he popped that camouflage, and then, you know, it was basically halfway gone at that point. A new camo, though, is going to be coming up. Ball has been grabbed by Spacestation, and they're going to play all the way back over here right by the elevators, which, again, not a bad option, right? Not a bad option to be at. There's no real areas for you to play ball here, but you do know that if let's say you give it up, you're kind of putting your opponents in a corner, but also you're in a corner too, so there's not really much benefit to it. But yeah, I mean, so far it's working out for them because no one has been able to push thus far, and this camo is going to ensure that that doesn't happen.
What a brilliant play there by Deciting. So what he did right there was just a lot of information gathering. Saw a couple of people going towards long haul and said, all right, well, I could kind of set up a cutoff for them and fight them over there.
Yeah.
But why? Why don't I just go over towards Whirlpool, give my team a numbers advantage, and just fight that fight? And you now see them reaping the benefits of that. They won a couple kills over there, over towards Whirlpool side, and then were able to get a few more points on the board.
Yeah, and they came right back into this one. A beautiful nade as well by Deciting. Unfortunately, Cratos got the better of him in that engagement now. And this is where you'll see the traditional play ball by Hydro. Take that ball out there, drop it low if need be. You are completely out of the action, though, if you decide to hold it there. And that is why you're going to see a play ball in the middle of the field. Kratos, though, in a position. Going yellow as well. He will be encountering a blue player here in a moment, unless he gets swiped up. Yes, he does. That's going to be Deciting who handles business there. And they're just waiting to grab and get possession of that ball. Teammates are prepared and ready, and that ball rolls, by the way, Dave. That thing can fly.
It does roll, and I like that route, too, with the ball. And in most cases, people seem to be confined towards running towards bottom whirl or towards kind of long haul area. But going towards that bottom center area, the reason that ball is so risky at the battery spot is because people have so many angles on it. We're going to count that as Insta. I love to see it, Porky.
Yeah.
The reason that ball is such a vulnerable spot is just because so many angles see it, and the fact that if you can bring it down towards camo, oddly enough, fewer angles can see that. In a spot that people aren't usually positioned. People aren't going to wait down near repulsor spawn to shoot somebody to bring that ball down later. It's like, no, you want to be up high on the map to shoot someone as they grab that or move away from batteries. So I did like that route, even though it didn't transfer into any sort of setup.
All right, 3 camos have been in play, and Ace has now grabbed this one. And unfortunately for him, they knew exactly where he was. They sniffed him out with some nades and forced his positioning. He couldn't get away in time. He could have run away as well, because once you're running down that long haul, there is no place for you to gain any kind of coverage. And the ball finally grabbed here after being in the pit for so long. It's going to be Tusk who gains possession of it, and he's looking for teammates. He's just trying to get over there and gain as many points as he possibly can. There's not a lot of time left on the clock.
Yeah, not a ton of time there. Definitely scrap up that time, but I guess I would have expected 2 different ways to play that there. It looks like Tusk opted for option A, which is rotate towards the teammates, try to figure out where they're going to meet, which seems like over towards the A stronghold. However, the option B was sit over there on that bat ledge, get some more information gathering, find some people that are going to shoot you across the map and say, all right, we now know that they're spawning over towards C stronghold or towards C plat. Which way do we want to take it from here? So I felt like Tusk just wanted to get next to teammates right away and see if they could block spawns over like elevator and such. But you have both those sort of options when you have numbers. You can decide, take your time, and rotate after getting all that information.
An important thing to note here, once you grab that oddball, time stops. So this way kind of allows, you're never really going to have that mathematically impossible moment, right? Like we've had in previous games where...
Did they just take feedback from you back in the day, GB? We were like, all right, math is not my thing. I come on Halo Infinite to play video games.
Darn right.
And can you just like, I don't know, stop the timer or something like that when I grab the oddball?
Listen here, kids, stay in school. Don't be like me and fail math and science and physical education. In fact, how I'm even here is a marvel in and of itself. But what has been fascinating to watch, though, has been this tug of war back and forth between XSET and Spacestation. And with that ball obtained now, you're going to see Cratos. He's going to play this corner. He's going to hold him. And as soon as he gets pressure, just as you see right there, he drops the ball. That's called a play ball, Kotaku, in case you don't know about that. Sorry. Just had to roast him there for a minute.
Also, the other part about that play ball, too, is it wasn't just a free play ball. It was a play ball and an attempt to get a kill.
Exactly.
There are times where people opt to just jump off the map with it or turn their back and get like the extra second and a half as they die and toss that ball off the map. However, I do view in more scenarios than not that you should be trying to do more damage. In a situation, especially if you're not super outnumbered and you have like possibly a one-on-one there, to drop that ball off, test your odds. I mean, you're a pro player and see if you can pick off that kill or at least get them to one shot for your teammates to get that pick off.
Can we talk about how crispy Deciding shot has been so far? Because he not only picks up a double kill and gets minimal health loss, but also on top of that obtains the oddball for his team. He will now try to get his squad into the lead, but there's the play ball, quote unquote, the pressure that was coming there, and now they're just gonna have to drop all the way low, and it make matters worse because that ball rolls so freely. It's in the pit now. It's all the way over there in Carajo land and can't be picked up.
I forgot we ended up calling that area camo area, but I guess yeah, there's a couple different calls.
It's a pit to me. Whatever, look, if it's in the bottom of a map, I call it a pit, because I ain't got no time for that. But there you go. And XSET will pick up the first round here. That play ball was massive for them. We managed to slow down time as much as they can, and now this is going to be where we see potentially Spacestation try and answer back here, Walshy. It has been tough for them.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're needing anyone to step up right now, I do feel like Spacestation's going to need to lead on more of their veterans, like Tusk and Elam. They have been lacking a little bit in the slay department those last games. I believe we saw Deciting and Tylenul both around like 15-ish kills each. And yes, kills aren't the full story, but in the day, kills do translate to objective. So we're going to have to see, like I said, I want to see Ace really kind of step it up here. I think that he is undoubtedly like the leader on the squad with his brother coach Elamite, but we really need to see them step it up, especially when their backs against the wall in a situation like this. This is Tylenul and Deciding's first time being at a LAN tournament, and secondly, first time being on main stage. So that combination alone, I feel like they need to be able to rely on the veterans.
But can you say the same for Porky J and Filthy? I'm pretty sure you can, right?
I feel like they've been at tournaments before.
Yeah, tournaments, yes.
But, obviously it's like their first Infinite one, but, I think there's something to be said about your first tournament ever, your first LAN tournament ever.
It's true. It's a completely different vibe, atmosphere, the crowd watching you as well. We have a packed house, literally. This is insane. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out and joining us here in Raleigh. In case you haven't joined us or you aren't here with us, of course, we miss you. We're glad you're watching at home. Plenty more HCS events coming at you as well. But for right now, though, all eyes are on XSET and Spacestation at the start here. It has been a decent start for Spacestation, but not something that you want to write home to.
No, I mean, a 13-second lead, that can just evaporate instantly as soon as the team gets some semblance of control. But XSET's doing some wise plays. They are just going for slays. When in doubt, slay it out here, especially if you don't want this opposing squad just get like some sort of big run. And so looks like they're getting these kills. It's a 3-on-3 though, so nobody's really getting ace or advantage. Kills being traded back and forth.
Has been a bit of a scrappy game here, but Cratos is on something. He's looking for another one, but it doesn't happen. Didn't have that health. That kind of goes back to that point Gaskin made earlier, man, that, you know, if you come out of a fight, a BR fight with just a little bit of health, you can be a difference maker in any further engagement. So the fact that Cratos was able to get a double out of that one, and an attempt here to grab the ball, but again, this has just been back and forth, and I guess this is exactly what you want to see between these two squads here, because Spacestation, their backs are against the wall.
Yeah, backs against the wall, but this didn't translate once again to a real setup. We did see 3 down for Spacestation for a moment, and then Tylenul ended up going down, but this is a time you'd expect XSET to have gotten some form of a full setup. But not quite the case. Either they were trying to bring something over towards Hydro, like you said, and they ended up spawning over there, or just weren't sure of where to get away with that ball.
No real progress has been made. Time continues to tick forward here. Filthy and Porky have had, I would say, a pretty good showing, in my opinion. It's reflected on the scoreboard, but they have been holding their own, and of course we expect that out of Cratos and Suspector as well, given their track record and what they've accomplished in Halo Esports in the past. But this team has been quite impressive. They're looking to pull themselves back into this one here, if possible. Smart play by Filthy, getting away from the action. Knows that there's going to be pressure from behind and has to rely on his teammate for support here. That's where Suspector is going to come into play. Wow. He's able to successfully win that fight.
And this scrap time is so huge during those moments. This has been a massive run. I was actually going to be a bit more critical before and expect them to grab a few more seconds of time, but this is the sort of setup that they've been really looking for. One thing that I've always done when I was competing in objective games back in the day is I would try to take a couple snapshots of the games that went through. You know, let's say you're 75% of the way through the match or 50% of the way through the match. On like an oddball game, and let's say, you know, you're going to 250 points, if only 15, 20, 40 seconds have been scrapped up, you now need to realize that this game's scoring system is a little different. You need to realize that if you can grab 10, 15 seconds here scrapped up, that means a lot more than in a full setup style game.
Yeah. These are certainly going to be things that our players are going to have to keep in mind here, and the good help from Deciting. They get the ball back, maybe bringing it over to Hydro, but there is going to be one player there to help them out, and unfortunately for them, a player from XSET who's all by a lonesome. Spawns are going to be coming from the elevator side, so expect this push to happen now from Tower. Ace trying his best to stay alive. He's got the help from Tylenul there, but Tylenul is going to get suffocated in a moment's notice if things keep going like this. Somehow, though, he managed to get out of there scot-free, still holding the Hydro side. He's been beaten up, battered, and bruised. Maybe he can make a play for the ball, but he's actually just going to bail right on out of there, go to his teammates, and look at that connection there.
Yeah, there's two kind of schools of thought there during that last ball rotation.
He got a double out of that, by the way.
Double from Tylenul,
from
just flying around there.
Gets a double. That's massive.
That is huge. I was going to say there's a couple different schools of thought, like from that last ball rotation. One school of thought is that was unfortunate that they spawned over at BR side or came in from control side. How do we get so unlucky? Second school of thought is you should be able to expect that. You should be able to deduce where the opponents are coming from. And the fact that Ace and squad rotated out from long haul into his unsafe position was, in my eyes, a pure just mistake. You know, that could just be not being fully used to playing ball and getting set up on this, or just kind of tournament nerves or whatever it is. But ultimately, they rotated the ball into an unsafe spot, and you can't have your ball person leading the charge. You should know where that ball person should be rotating to, and that area should be safe.
I mean, just look at everything that's happening here, Dave. I mean, Spacestation, they have done everything they can to keep the ball out of the hands of XSET, because now you're playing with time here. Suspector grabs camo. Ball has not been picked up yet. We only have a few seconds remaining in this one. You got to make a play happen here. You got to make it fast. You have to nab that ball, or else that could very well be it. Cratos has to be mindful of this here. Has to try and stop the bleeding, but no, it doesn't happen. And that is going to be another round one.
What I was going to say is like those game of inches. When it's a low-scoring game, there was times earlier where FilthyG could have grabbed in like 5-7 seconds, and those are the difference makers in these really low-scoring oddball or objective games.
I just got to say, that play from Tylenul was something else.
Yeah.
Staying alive Hydro, pushing over to his teammates, giving him the coverage, coming around, picking up a double, still staying alive. That's just absolute shenanigans. Should not be allowed to happen. But Porky J with camo in hand is going to die instantly, courtesy of Ace now. And I think Spacestation are starting to feel themselves here, Walshy.
Yeah, starting to click together. You know, their backs are against the wall. They have no choice but to step it up in this scenario to try to bring this to a game 5. But, you know, pressure's all on Spacestation right now. They need to be the ones that are securing more kills, being in stronger position. I mean, there's all those just straight up fundamentals of Halo that really decide this game. But as I say that, 2 members go down, Deciting and Ace, both fall. It's a 4-on-2 right now in favor of XSET. Let's see if they can rotate this ball out from the bottom.
Well, they managed to send it all the way down to Camo here. Ace looking for the stop. He does have some support, some help. Will be weakened though. Suspector getting the cleanup on that one. And now just looking around to see if there's going to be any other players still standing here for Spacestation. But the ball will be grabbed. He's got a teammate over at Long Haul too.
Someone watched the Shy Away jump video.
That's the sneaky jump that I could never pull off because I'm hot trash, but there it is. And he now has ball by Hydro, has help too. And this is where they could get some points here. They got to grab that ball and start putting some points on the board. But the pressure from Spacestation has been profound this whole time here, Walshy. They have not let them breathe.
No, yeah, even when they've been down in numbers, like they've still had people in position near the objective. So clearly, Spacestation have been very objective-minded by putting that pressure on there. It just hasn't fully translated into any sort of control. They've been able to like kind of hold them off. They've been able to cut off the bleeding a little bit, but they haven't really been able to get these sort of setups, even though they're being near the ball and you know, have their heads in the right spot.
Camel's going to be up in a second. Should be grabbed by Tylenul. Ball's going to be available in the middle of the map. Cratos by Whirlpool. They got the support here. They got the angles. So they'll bring this one back all the way over to the elevators. Where are going to be the remaining players of Spacestation? How does this push come to fruition here? One player is going to go down. Suspector. I make that 2, as a matter of fact. A beautifully placed nade there. And also, you're slowing that player down at tower. You're slowing down Deciting as well. Cratos is providing some brilliant cover fire here from the yellow tower.
Yeah, that was a great flank. Obviously, great communications. Understand someone coming from that ramp, but this damage right here is going to extend this setup so much further than it would have went on earlier. Just getting all those extra kills, getting those shots across the map. Because Cratos, when you're over at glass like that, you're in such a position that's so far away that you're only going to kill that player if that player overextends. They have to get a little cocky, overextend for a PR fight, or you have to get some sort of like nade / headshot, but it's too far away to go over and clear that person out. You're already committed towards going towards the ball and clearing out A and elevators. You can't afford to go back to glass. It's just not an option.
Yeah. So many things done right there by XSET. That's why it's reflected on the scoreboard, but now it could be Spacestation's time to strike. Fortunately for them, though, they are going to start getting Zerg Rush here by a bunch of the members of XSET, and I don't know if they can hold this fight off. Tylenul tries to get a little cheeky with the ball. He's going to send it all the way down over toward where the camo is. 2 players by elevator as well, looking to push at the same time, but look at just the way that Ace stays alive, pulls the attention in his direction, and allows his teammates time to be able to get away with the ball over to the Hydro side.
Yep, just those extra seconds of dealing damage, buying alive. I call that windows of opportunity. It's a, you know, it's just a straight up fundamental in Halo and every other game where you're buying time for your team, and it's your teammates' decision and positioning if they're gonna jump through that window of opportunity, Alex. Yeah. Are they going to take advantage of that window, or are they gonna let it just close and pass?
Sometimes you put the blinders on, you know, the shades. You don't want the sun coming in. I don't know, but you're right though. It was a window of opportunity, and they allowed that to give them the lead, a slight lead, 3 points. Still going to be a lead nonetheless. The ball has not been picked up. We got about 2 minutes and some change left into play here. And this is it. Whoever wins this round is going to walk away the winner. And here's the other part of it, right? XSET up 2-1. If they win this, that's it. The series is done. Spacestation trying to force this game 5. They want to take the battle to the streets for some Slayer action. But XSET, they want to try and stop this right here, right now. Ball's going to be hanging out over toward the elevator side of the map, more toward Whirl. And if I had to imagine, they're going to bring this over to yellow there. Yeah, you can see it there. And that, look out for that player by glass as well. Tylenul could be a bit of a headache here. I swear that was not intentional. But there it is. Removes him from the fight. And now they can continue to add more points to this one, Walsh.
Yep, great job there by Suspector going over to finish that kill. And what Suspector's doing is rotate to where you know it's safe. I was giving some flack earlier to Spacestation for rotating it to a spot where it wasn't as safe just yet for the ball. Suspector got caught off a little bit there, but ultimately, you know, clear out areas for your ball, know where you can push on out, and scrap those extra seconds because you're going to get time with Oddball in 2 main fashions. One is a full setup time. That's the easy one, Alex. Your
Yep.
teammates are already across the map, killing people and holding up ground. The other time is during rotations. You're rotating that ball away. You are maybe losing one part of your setup, but kind of opening a new window, getting a new setup across the map in a different location and making the enemy team ideally get panicked and flustered and going out into open or bad positions trying to cut off the ball.
You know, that whole engagement there, losing the player by glass, and then also just the collapse that we saw at elevators, though. Spacestation, a great response, a double kill there by Tusk. Looking for another one as well. Does manage to get a triple kill for Tusk. And he's definitely holding his own and earning that paycheck here in Raleigh today. Camo has been picked up, though. Maybe another one as well. Porky J getting a little spicy with it. And the camo's been burned. Deciting has that ball. A minute left on the clock here. Now it's going to be Ace that has possession of it. And this could very well be going to Game 5. I know everyone here in Raleigh wants to see it, but I'm almost certain XSET don't want that to happen. Deciting with a great angle, too. Can support players are going to be coming out of yellow here. Gets the kill. Ball's down. Cratos got possession of it. Deciting very, very weak. 3 players down now. That is so dangerous here. They're going to have to go quickly on this one, Walsh. They got to stop this.
Holding ball near elevator, it's it can be a double-edged sword because it can be one of the most difficult spots for a team to infiltrate and take over. However, once they take it over, it's almost like they have the full setup themselves. You don't really have any great options to play ball there.
That's going to be 2 players down, courtesy of Porky J. Ball's going to be open right in front of the tower. Tusk had eyes on it. They have the lead ever so slightly. It's going to be going away in a second here. Lead gone. Not a lot of time left as well, so if that ball goes away, that's it. They have to make this push right now.
Tusk needs to make a move, yeah.
They have no choice.
He also just can't give the death away. He does die over to Porky.
That's
Tylenul picks up one. Deciting picks up one. Suspector, they know he has sword over there. They have 92 points.
What a nade! What a nade! But FilthyG gets possession of the ball. Is anyone going to be there to try and stop him? He's going to play this ball right away, and he does so. There's still going to be time left to play out of this one. Ace has to win this fight.
This one's not over yet.
But the ball's still available.
3 dead for a second player from XSET. Looks like Tylenul is going to be the one to push in and try to grab this ball. But looks like he's going to opt to try to find where any of these sneaky players are at, realizing that they need some sort of slay.
They're completely surrounded. They got a player in tower. They got a player in whirl. One's going to be up top in yellow. All they got to do is grab the ball for just 2 seconds here. So they cleared out yellow. Now they have to go after this one. The ball has been grabbed, though. Can't allow that to happen. Ball's been picked up again. Still, no time has been gained. 18 seconds now left on the clock here. He's got the ball, but he's so weak. He gets naded out. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. They're fighting with everything they got. XSET want to end this series right here, right now. The ball right in front of Filthy, but he cannot get possession of it. But a teammate comes in to save the day. Do they have it? Yes, they do. And that is going to be the series. XSET win 3-1.
XSET closing it out, clearly showing a bit more composure there than their opponents on Spacestation. It felt like so many other times, Spacestation just weren't sure how to secure the ball or push it on out. And it felt like XSET were, you know, across the board, getting a couple more setups, getting a few more play balls, knowing how to rotate just a little bit better.